Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Imagine this: you're digging through the spare change in your pocket, wallet, or maybe even that old piggy bank you haven't cracked open since the 90s. Suddenly, you find a penny. It's a 1991 Lincoln penny, and it's got no mint mark. You think, it's just a penny, and toss it aside, right? Hold on. That penny could actually be worth, drumroll, please, $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a single penny that could change your life. So, in today's video, we're going to dive into the fascinating world of the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I'll tell you why it's worth so much, what makes it rare, and how you can spot one of these gems in your own collection. Plus, I'll share a little story about the time I almost missed out on a small fortune. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's get into it. Okay, first things first, what's the deal with no mint marks? Most pennies have a tiny letter under the date, showing where they were minted. For example, a D means Denver, an S means San Francisco, and if it's blank, yep, that's a no mint mark. But here's the kicker: not all no mint mark pennies are valuable. Most are from the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't always stamp its coins with a mint mark, but the 1991 no mint mark penny is a whole other ballgame. Why? It's believed that a small batch of these pennies was struck with an experimental die or by mistake, making them ultra rare. Rarity equals big bucks in the coin world. So, what's driving that insane price tag? The 1991 no mint mark penny's value skyrockets because only a handful are believed to exist. Coin collectors love a good mystery coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. If it's graded as MS65 or higher, which means it looks almost perfect, you're looking at $1 million coin. Here's how you can find out if your 1991 penny is the holy grail: look below the year. If it's blank, keep going. Is it shiny, clean, and free of scratches? If yes, you're in luck. Send it to a professional coin grading service to confirm its authenticity and condition. Let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, the one where everything from batteries to expired coupons ends up. I found a penny and almost threw it away. But something told me to take a closer look. Turns out, it was a no mint mark penny. Sadly, it wasn't the elusive 1991, but it taught me a valuable lesson: always check your change. You never know what you might have. Piggy banks, car cup holders, even your couch cushions. Learn about other rare coins, too. Finding $1 million coin is like hitting the lottery: it takes time and luck. So, there you have it, the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper that could make you a millionaire. The next time you're sorting through your change, don't overlook those pennies. Who knows? You might just find your golden, or should I say copper, ticket. Before you go, I have a challenge for you. Go check your coins right now and come back here to tell me what you found in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. We've got more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth big bucks coming your way. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. What's up? Have you ever walked by a penny on the ground, thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, guess what? You might be missing out on a serious hidden gem. Today, we're diving into a coin that'll make you want to double-check your pocket change. I'm talking about the 1991 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth a whopping $1.20 million. Now, I know what you're thinking: a penny? A penny worth $1 million? Sounds like one of those clickbait headlines, doesn't it? But trust me, this is no joke. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this little copper beauty could be the jackpot you've been waiting for. And if you're anything like me, you'll be running to grab the change jar to start searching. So, let's break this down. What's so special about the 1991 D penny? I mean, it's just a regular old penny with Abraham Lincoln's face, right? Well, yeah, that's true for most of them. But here's where it gets interesting. Back in 1991, the US Mint produced millions of pennies with a D mint mark. The mint mark, for those of you who may not know, just tells you where the coin was made. The D stands for the Denver Mint. So why is this particular 1991 D penny worth a fortune? Well, it's all about a little thing called error coins. You see, some of these 1991D pennies were struck with a rare minting error, either in the design, the die, or even the composition. These error pennies, although they might look just like regular pennies to the untrained eye, are what make collectors lose their minds. They're like the unicorns of the penny world. And guess what? Some of these pennies have been known to fetch a cool $1.20 million. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, wait a minute, I've got a 1991D penny in my collection, but it looks like any other penny. Well, you're not alone. That's what I thought, too, when I first started collecting. Let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my change jar. You know, the one you throw all your random coins into when you're not paying attention? Well, I pulled out a bunch of 1991D pennies and thought, hey, I'll keep these just in case. Maybe I'll get lucky. I stuck them in a drawer and completely forgot about them. Fast forward a year, and I stumbled across a YouTube video about rare coins, and they mentioned the 1991D penny. I thought, that's the year I'm looking for. So I pulled out those old pennies, gave them a quick look, and guess what? No $1 million jackpot for me, sadly. But I gotta tell you, the excitement of the possibility was real. Anyway, back to the real question, why is the 1991D penny worth so much? It all comes down to the rarity of those error coins. Imagine a penny that was accidentally stamped with the wrong design, or maybe it was struck with a worn-out die, making Lincoln look like he's had one too many long days in the office. Those imperfections make it rare, and rare coins are what collectors will pay big bucks for. To give you an idea, one of these error pennies recently sold at auction for $1.2 million. That's right, a coin that's smaller than a Tic Tac could buy you a house, a car, and a trip to Disney World, all in one go. So, how do you know if your 1991D penny is one of these rare finds? Well, the key is inspecting it carefully. Look for any of the following. This is when the design is printed more than once on the coin. You might notice Lincoln's face looking a bit blurry or doubled up. This happens when the coin isn't perfectly lined up with the die, making the design appear misaligned. These can look like cracks or lines across the coin, usually in the Lincoln portrait. Now, I'm not saying you'll find one of these $1 million pennies in your change jar, but it's worth checking out. You never know, you might just strike gold, or at least some serious pocket change. Alright, folks, we've reached the end of our journey today. We've talked about how the 1991D mint mark penny can be worth up to $1.2 million, and we've even thrown in a personal story about my own coin hunting experience. Spoiler alert, I'm still waiting for that jackpot. But here's the thing, whether you find a $1 million penny or just a few cents, the thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so exciting. If you're serious about finding rare and valuable coins, don't forget to keep your eyes peeled. Check your change, inspect those pennies, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the next lucky one to find a coin worth a fortune. If you found this video helpful and entertaining, and let's be real, who wouldn't want to find a $1 million penny, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more coin tips, tricks, and strategies coming your way. You won't want to miss it. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and tell me your story. Who knows, you might inspire the next big treasure hunt. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got a penny of a story for you today, literally. It's about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, and trust me, you'll want to double check after hearing this. Today we're talking about the 1987 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's worth a lot more than its humble 1 cent face value. We're talking about a market value of $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, one little penny, worth over $1 million. If you think you're hearing things, don't worry, you're not alone, but hold on before you run off and start rummaging through your couch cushions. This coin isn't just some random penny. There's a story behind it, and trust me, it's worth sticking around for. So grab a snack, kick back, and let's dive into what makes this 1987 no mint mark penny worth all that cash. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the basics. Most of us probably think that pennies are about as exciting as watching paint dry. They're tiny, they're everywhere, and we usually don't give them a second thought. But I'm here to tell you, if you've got a 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you might want to start giving it some serious attention. So, what makes this penny so special? Well, it's all about the mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. You see, mint marks are little letters stamped on coins to show where they were made. Normally, you'll find mint marks like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco on your coins. But in 1987, something went a little rogue. A small batch of pennies was produced with no mint mark at all. And now, you might be wondering, why is this such a big deal? I mean, it's just a penny without a letter, right? But here's where it gets interesting. The 1987 no mint mark penny is actually a result of a pretty rare mistake at the minting facility. A few of those pennies got out there, and since there weren't many of them made, collectors went wild. You see, rarity is what drives the value of a coin, and this penny, my friends, is about as rare as finding a unicorn in your backyard. But wait, it gets better. These coins were originally circulated, and most of them have been, well, lost to history, or ended up in people's piggy banks, never to be seen again. So, finding one of these bad boys today is like striking gold in a sea of copper. If you've got one, you're sitting on a small fortune. Now, let me tell you a funny story. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my old jar of coins, the one I've been collecting since I was about 12 years old. I figured, hey, there might be some old nickels or dimes in there worth a little more than face value. I wasn't expecting to find anything major, just some pocket change. And then, bam! There it was, a 1987 penny. I stared at it for a second, thinking, this is just a regular old penny. Wait a minute, is this the one? I grabbed my phone, pulled up the image of the 1987 no mint mark penny, and holy cow, my heart started racing. It didn't have a mint mark. I almost fell over in shock. Unfortunately, it turned out my penny wasn't the one worth $1 million, but the excitement I felt in that moment was real. So, if you find one of these rare pennies in your change jar, don't just toss it aside thinking it's a dud. You might just be looking at a hidden treasure. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, so this penny is rare, but how do I actually know if I've got one? Well, it's pretty simple. Just look at the date and check the back. If it says 1987 with no mint mark, then congratulations, you've got yourself a piece of coin history. Just make sure to double check it, because there are some fakes out there. If you're unsure, you might want to get it authenticated by a professional. Better safe than sorry, right? Alright, now that we've had some fun learning about the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you might be thinking, how can I find more coins like this? Well, that's where the magic happens. Start checking your loose change, visit coin shops, and pay attention to what's circulating. You never know what could be hiding in plain sight, so, the next time you pick up a penny, remember, it could be worth way more than you think. And hey, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about valuable coins coming your way. Whether it's rare pennies, nickels, or something even crazier, you won't want to miss out. Hey, coin collectors! What's up? Have you ever held a penny and thought, hey, this tiny piece of copper could be worth a fortune? No? Well, buckle up, because today, we're diving into a penny that might just make you take a second look at the change sitting in your jar. I'm talking about the 1987 D mint mark Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard me right, a penny that's worth $1.4 million. And if that's not a reason to get excited, I don't know what is. I mean, how many times have you walked past a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? I know I've done it way too many times. But imagine if one of those pennies could buy you a really nice car, or heck, even pay off your student loans. Please, someone, tell me that's possible. Stick around as we break down what makes this little coin so special and why you should keep an eye out for it. Let's go. So, the 1987 D mint mark Lincoln penny, not just your regular penny you find in your pocket or under your couch cushions. This bad boy, in the right condition, could fetch you up to $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right. A penny. It's enough to make you go through every single coin in your piggy bank right now. But wait, before you get too excited and start sorting through the change jar, let's talk about what makes the 1987 D so valuable. First off, the mint mark D stands for the Denver Mint. Every penny with this mint mark was struck in Denver, Colorado. Sounds simple, right? But it's more about rarity and condition than just where it was made. And now, most 1987 D pennies are just, well, pennies. But what we're talking about today is the exceptional ones. These are the coins that were struck with some kind of error, whether it's a die crack, a double strike, or any other anomaly that makes them stand out from the rest of the bunch. These rare errors are what make a normal penny worth millions in some cases. The more unique and flawless the condition, the higher the price. For instance, if you're lucky enough to find a 1987 D penny that's been preserved in pristine condition, say, one that's never been circulated, you're looking at something close to mint, and that's the jackpot. Coins like that are the rare gems in the coin collecting world, and collectors are willing to drop serious cash to get their hands on them. Now, here's the kicker: finding one of these pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack. I remember once, a few years ago, I found a penny on the sidewalk and thought it was the coolest thing. Turns out, it was just a regular old penny that had been kicked around for a while. I spent a solid 5 minutes looking at it, hoping for some sort of hidden treasure, but no luck. If I had known back then that a 1987 D could be worth this much, I would have been way more careful about that penny. Trust me, I would have been inspecting it under a magnifying glass instead of tossing it into my pocket. And here's another thing: it's all about timing. If you have a penny from the 1987 D mint and you've got it in great shape, the market can really play in your favor. These coins are just as much about when you sell them as they are about their rarity. It's like real estate, only, much smaller. The value can fluctuate, but right now, we're seeing that $1.4 million price tag. And no, that's not a typo. You've probably heard people say, "Oh, it's just a penny, it's not worth anything." Well, now you know better. Not every penny you find is going to be a gold mine, but with the right eye for detail, you could stumble upon a hidden treasure that might just make your day. The moral of the story? Look closely at your change. No more letting those pennies slip through your fingers without a second thought. If you've got a 1987 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny sitting around, now's the time to get it appraised. It could be the one that changes everything. So, let's wrap this up. The 1987 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is a great example of why coin collecting is not only fascinating but also potentially profitable. You just never know when you might find a hidden gem that's worth a fortune. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, paying attention to details can make all the difference. Now, I know this video probably had you digging through your coin collection, wondering if you have a rare treasure sitting in a drawer somewhere. And hey, I don't blame you. If I could, I'd be checking every coin I've ever gotten. But remember, it's about the condition, rarity, and errors. So, keep your eyes peeled and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a 1987 D worth $1.40 million nut before you go. Though, if you loved this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies on collecting, and all the juicy details about the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more money-making tips that might just be sitting in your pocket. Trust me, it could change your life, or at least make you look at pennies a whole lot differently. Hey there, coin lovers! So, here's a question for you. Have you ever looked at your pocket change and thought, I wonder if one of these pennies is worth more than a cup of coffee or my lunch? Well, today, we're diving deep into one that actually is the 1996 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, because you might just find out that your pocket change is worth way more than you thought. And who doesn't want to find out they're sitting on a hidden treasure, right? Now, the 1996 D penny isn't what you'd call rare, at least not in the way a 1909 SVDB is. But let me tell you, if you find the right one, it can still make your wallet a little fatter. We're talking a sweet $1.5 million in today's market. And no, I didn't mix up the numbers. This penny, yes, the one that's been hanging out in your pocket or in that jar on your dresser, could be worth a lot more than you think. Let's break it down. First off, the 1996 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, and it's got that good old familiar face of Honest Abe. What makes this penny unique isn't the design. It's the fact that a small number of these pennies were struck with some pretty strange errors, which is what gives them their hefty price tag. Okay, so imagine this: you're going through your change from that last coffee run. You're looking for anything that doesn't look like the usual modern stuff, and bam! You spot a 1996 D penny. It seems pretty normal at first, right? It's got the D Mint mark on it, like hundreds of millions of others. But here's the kicker: some of these pennies were minted with mistakes. These errors can happen when the machines that strike the coins malfunction in certain ways. So, what do these errors do? They make the coin more valuable because they're flaws that collectors can't get enough of. Think of it like finding a rare comic book with a misprint. Suddenly, it's worth way more than it should be. Now, let me tell you a little story about my own personal run-in with a coin I thought was worth nothing. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out an old drawer, and there it was, a 1995 penny. To me, it was just a regular penny, nothing fancy. But something told me to check it out before tossing it into the meh pile. Turns out, it was a super rare double die error. I nearly fell off my chair when I saw how much it was worth. Moral of the story: don't judge a coin by its cover. Always check, because you never know when you could stumble upon a gem like this 1996 D. So, how do you know if you found a 1996 D penny that's actually worth big bucks? First, the error to look for is what's called a die clash. Essentially, this happens when two dies strike the coin in the wrong way, causing a blurry or doubled image. If your 1996 D penny has this, then congratulations. You're holding onto a penny that could potentially fetch a lot of money. But be aware, the condition of the coin also matters. A penny that's been through the wash or bounced around your pocket too much won't get as much love from collectors. Alright, so let's talk about how much this rare penny can actually go for. Like I mentioned earlier, the current market value is about $1.5 million. That's right, a single penny that could be worth more than your car. If that doesn't get you excited about checking your change, I don't know what will. Now, here's the catch: finding one of these error pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, you won't know until you check. And who knows, that little 1996 D penny you thought was just another piece of pocket lint might be worth more than your entire collection of action figures. Yes, I'm talking to you, comic book nerds and coin hoarders. So, what's the takeaway here? Check your pennies. It could be your lucky day. You never know when you might find something that'll make you a small fortune. The 1996 D mint mark penny is just one example of how everyday change can turn into something valuable when you know what to look for. Now, if you're feeling a little more adventurous, go ahead and grab that jar of loose change from under your bed and start hunting. You might be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a silver. Okay, it's a penny, but you get the idea. If you found this video helpful or even just a little bit entertaining, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'll be sharing more tips on coins worth big bucks, error coins, and all sorts of numismatic fun. And trust me, you don't want to miss out. Who knows, your next $1 million coin could be right around the corner. Hey, fellow coin hunters. Imagine this: you're walking around the house, maybe cleaning out that old jar of pennies that's been sitting on your shelf for what seems like forever. You pull one out, look at it, and boom, you spot something. A little mint mark is missing, and suddenly, you're holding a coin worth more than your lunch from the local deli. Intrigued? Well, today, we're diving into the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and let me tell you, this little guy is worth a pretty penny, literally. If you've got one, you could be holding on to a coin worth up to $1.6 million. So let's dig into why this coin is so valuable and how you can spot it. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll want to give every penny in your collection a second look. Alright, before we jump into dollar signs and coins worth more than a new car, let's talk history for a minute. The 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a bit of a mystery. See, in 1971, the US Mint was printing pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Normally, you'd expect to see a D mint mark for Denver coins. But if you flip a penny from 1971 and see no mint mark, that's where things get exciting. These particular coins were actually minted in Philadelphia, but here's the kicker: for whatever reason, some of the 1971 pennies just didn't get stamped with the mint mark. So, what makes this penny worth more than its face value? It's all about rarity. There are thousands of 1971 pennies out there with a D mint mark, but the ones without it? That's where the magic happens. It's a rare error coin, which makes it highly collectible. And we all know, when something's rare, the price tag goes up. If you've got a clean, well-preserved 1971 no mint mark penny, you could be looking at something worth up to $1.6 million in perfect condition. That's right, I said million, with an M. Now, I know what you're thinking: how do I even spot one of these elusive, money-making pennies? Don't worry, I've got you covered. First off, look for the lack of a mint mark. Flip your coin over to the reverse side, and if you see no D or S stamp there, you're looking at a potential gold mine. The next thing to check is the overall condition of the coin. These pennies need to be in good shape to fetch top dollar. The more pristine, the better. No crazy scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no coffee stains, unless you're into coffee-flavored coins. That's a whole other niche. So, keep your eyes peeled, and treat every penny like it's the next big find. Speaking of finding rare coins, I've got a funny story for you. A couple of years ago, I was going through an old jar of coins I inherited from my grandpa. It was mostly filled with pennies, nickels, and the occasional dime that had probably been stuck in there since the 80s. I remember sitting on my couch, flipping through them, not really expecting much. But then, out of nowhere, I found a 1955 Lincoln penny. I thought, hey, this might be worth something. I got so excited, I almost spilled my coffee all over it. Classic move, right? Turns out, that penny wasn't the rare double die variety, but still, it was worth a bit more than I thought. Moral of the story? You've got to check your coins, because you never know when you might find a hidden gem like the 1971 no mint mark penny. So now you know what you're looking for, but let's talk about the market for rare pennies like this. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for error coins, and they're willing to pay big bucks for the right one. The demand for 1971 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, in particular, has skyrocketed over the past few years. As with all collectibles, the condition is key. A coin in pristine condition can sell for up to $1.6 million, while one that's a bit more worn might still fetch a decent price, but not quite as much. Keep in mind, though, the market can fluctuate. Just like the stock market, one day you might find your coin's value is through the roof, and the next, it's a little more modest. But one thing's for sure, having a 1971 no mint mark penny in your collection is a great start. Alright, coin enthusiasts, that's all for today's deep dive into the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny. If you've got one of these in your collection, give it a second glance, it might just be worth more than your old car. And if you didn't find one yet, don't fret, the hunt is half the fun. Trust me, there are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting for you to discover them. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that are worth way more than their face value, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future coin collecting tips. I've got plenty more content coming your way, and who knows, the next coin you find might be worth $1 million. Hey, fellow coin hunters. Imagine this, you're walking around the house, maybe cleaning out that old jar of pennies that's been sitting on your shelf for what seems like forever. You pull one out, look at it, and boom, you spot something. A little mint mark is missing, and suddenly, you're holding a coin worth more than your lunch from the local deli. Intrigued? Well, today, we're diving into the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and let me tell you, this little guy is worth a pretty penny, literally. If you've got one, you could be holding on to a coin worth up to $1.6 million. So let's dig into why this coin is so valuable and how you can spot it. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll want to give every penny in your collection a second look. Alright, before we jump into dollar signs and coins worth more than a new car, let's talk history for a minute. The 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a bit of a mystery. See, in 1971, the U.S. Mint was printing pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Normally, you'd expect to see a D mint mark for Denver coins. But, if you flip a penny from 1971 and see no mint mark, that's where things get exciting. These particular coins were actually minted in Philadelphia, but here's the kicker, for whatever reason, some of the 1971 pennies just didn't get stamped with the mint mark. So, what makes this penny worth more than its face value? It's all about rarity. There are thousands of 1971 pennies out there with a D mint mark, but the ones without it? That's where the magic happens. It's a rare error coin, which makes it highly collectible. And we all know, when something's rare, the price tag goes up. If you've got a clean, well-preserved 1971 no mint mark penny, you could be looking at something worth up to $1.6 million in perfect condition. That's right, I said million, with an M. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I even spot one of these elusive, money-making pennies? Don't worry, I've got you covered. First off, look for the lack of a mint mark. Flip your coin over to the reverse side, and if you see no D or S stamp there, you're looking at a potential gold mine. The next thing to check is the overall condition of the coin. These pennies need to be in good shape to fetch top dollar. The more pristine, the better. No crazy scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no coffee stains, unless you're into coffee-flavored coins. That's a whole other niche. So, keep your eyes peeled, and treat every penny like it's the next big find. Speaking of finding rare coins, I've got a funny story for you. A couple of years ago, I was going through an old jar of coins I inherited from my grandpa. It was mostly filled with pennies, nickels, and the occasional dime that had probably been stuck in there since the 80s. I remember sitting on my couch, flipping through them, not really expecting much. But then, out of nowhere, I found a 1955 Lincoln penny. I thought, hey, this might be worth something. I got so excited, I almost spilled my coffee all over it. Classic move, right? Turns out, that penny wasn't the rare double die variety, but still, it was worth a bit more than I thought. Moral of the story? You've got to check your coins, because you never know when you might find a hidden gem like the 1971 no mint mark penny. So now you know what you're looking for, but let's talk about the market for rare pennies like this. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for error coins, and they're willing to pay big bucks for the right one. The demand for 1971 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, in particular, has skyrocketed over the past few years. As with all collectibles, the condition is key. A coin in pristine condition can sell for up to $1.6 million, while one that's a bit more worn might still fetch a decent price, but not quite as much. Keep in mind, though, the market can fluctuate. Just like the stock market, one day you might find your coin's value is through the roof, and the next, it's a little more modest. But one thing's for sure, having a 1971 no mint mark penny in your collection is a great start. Alright, coin enthusiasts, that's all for today's deep dive into the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny. If you've got one of these in your collection, give it a second glance, it might just be worth more than your old car. And if you didn't find one yet, don't fret, the hunt is half the fun. Trust me, there are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting for you to discover them. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that are worth way more than their face value, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future coin collecting tips. I've got plenty more content coming your way, and who knows, the next coin you find might be worth $1 million. Alright, folks, gather round because today, we're diving into a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket, your old jar of change, or, like me, that random drawer where you throw all the stuff you might need later. If you've got a 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might just be sitting on a small fortune, $1.7 million to be exact. Yep, you heard that right. And no, this isn't clickbait. Stick around, and I'll explain how you could make a tidy profit off of a penny that's been chilling in your coin jar all these years. Now, before you rush off to check your wallets, let's break down why this little penny is worth more than just the price of a cup of coffee. Trust me, it's not as simple as just it's old, so let's dig in. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the basics. The 1988 no mint mark penny is a pretty regular looking coin at first glance. It's got good old Abe Lincoln just hanging out on the front, looking all presidential. On the back, you've got the classic Lincoln Memorial. But here's the kicker: no mint mark. That tiny little letter that normally tells you where the coin was made, it's missing. And this absence can turn an ordinary penny into something extraordinary. So why does this matter? Well, here's the deal: most pennies from 1988 were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and those coins are stamped with a P. But every now and then, you'll find a penny with no mint mark at all. These no mint mark pennies are rarer, and the rare ones are always worth more. And when you've got a rare penny like this one, well, people go wild for it, especially collectors who are always on the lookout for something that'll set their collection apart. Now, you might be asking, okay, but how much are we talking about here? What's the value of this penny really? Well, right now, this little guy is worth about $1.7 million. Yep. That's a lot of zeros for something that came out of your pocket after a quick run to the vending machine. But you gotta understand, it's not just any 1988 penny, it's about how few of them were made and how hard they are to find. It's like trying to find the last slice of pizza at a party full of teenagers. When it's gone, it's gone. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. A well-preserved 1988 no mint mark penny is what'll get you the big bucks. If it's been sitting in the bottom of your bag, all scratched up, or covered in grime, your return on investment might not hit that $1 million mark. But if you've got a well-kept one, no tears, no corrosion, and no wear and tear, that coin could be huge. And just like my attempts at saving my favorite childhood toy from my little brother, it gets more valuable with time. It's crazy, isn't it? Who would have thought a penny that seems so basic could be worth so much? But that's the fun part about coin collecting. It's like treasure hunting, except the treasure is right there under your nose, or in your pocket, or hidden in that jar of random change. It's literally money waiting to be found. So how do you find one of these? Easy. You don't have to go out and buy rare coins for thousands of dollars at some fancy auction. Just check your change. If you were around in 1988, and maybe you held onto a penny or two from that year, take a good look. Look at the back of the coin and check if it's missing the mint mark. If you find one, hold on to it, you might have just discovered a small fortune. And if you're like me and have a lot of what ifs, this is your moment to be like, I knew it. Alright, so here's the takeaway. The 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those coins that might just be hanging out in your collection, waiting for you to realize its value. It's rare, it's special, and it's got a potential worth that could make you a millionaire. And who doesn't want to discover a little hidden treasure in their pocket change? Whether you've got it in your collection or you're just learning about it now, keep an eye out for this one. You never know, your next coin could be your ticket to a pretty nice payday. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you're thinking, hey, I need more tips like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got tons more tips on coins that are worth way more than face value, plus strategies on how to start your own coin collection. Don't miss out, you might just have the next big find in your own drawer. Hit that bell, and we'll see you next time.